All right. I I really wanted to get going on the JSON parsing, but I was thinking I hope I can get that done before tomorrow night, so that I can start calling Taiwan as soon as they're ready for business on Monday. However, then I realized I don't have a list for Taiwan, so maybe I should just continue making lists and see. Now, let's see here. Design Rush. I'm guessing they're US only. So I can't do it the same way I just did it. So let's find um six companies in Taiwan. Okay. Taoyin. um Back in the day, very slow. All right, let's just use simple characters and see what happens. Uh, I don't know if I should use the word gongsi or not. Seven of the best, nine of the best, 11 of the best. All right, let's just see what happens if we use normal Google in English. What do we have? How many does Clutch have listed? Let's find out. Clutch has 28 listed, but they're all serves Taiwan instead of being in Taiwan, probably. AJ Marketing is in Taiwan. The collab is in Taiwan. I Am Robert is in Taiwan. A lot of these are the same. Huh. How many are listed on this website? 13 companies. 15 companies. Check out the results of my deep search because maybe uh, I don't know that that's any better than just a normal ChatGPT response. Definitely could have gotten the same result with uh, just like a couple of prompts. I feel like they didn't go through all of them. Let's see here. Was designer sage.agency is the last one? Okay. Well, why do I not have the option of creating a new? Why can't I create a new ChatGPT? Only Taiwan. Specific details, just the URLs. All right, we'll see if that does anything. And if it does, I'll just use the same method for um, but can we go to tw.google.com? Google.com.tw. You know, I don't know how to say directory in Chinese. Mulu. Okay. Yeah, this is not good results whatsoever. Is this traditional? All right, let's just see if I put it in traditional characters, if that changes anything. A lot of times it does because then it only gets Taiwanese websites and it gets rid of Chinese websites. 10, 7, 19, 23. This one is actually a Taiwanese domain, so maybe it's good. Leaderweb.com.tw. Well, I don't know. Leaderweb might be a company. Okay. Do you have the links? Where's my links at? They don't have links on this. What the hell? Oops, I'm not even looking at Taiwan. I don't know. I could have ChatGPT build me a search term, but so it's halfway done on that. Um, maybe while I'm waiting, I'll just work on the JSON thing. So where was I with that? I am fading. Let's see here. All right, I think it's JSON object grabber.php. That's what I was working on there. Huh. I'm only getting one JSON object block. What happened? I think I just edited the URL. Huh. Let me see here. Um, no, there should be like a lot of. Maybe it's get term page loop JSON.php. I really need to come up with a better way of doing this. I'm naming files, and then I don't know what the hell those files do. What was that called again? Get term page loop JSON. Nope, that's definitely not it. But that is interesting. Nice. Okay, let's see here. So that is annoying because I'm going to have to figure this out. And the more time that passes between when I built this and when I test it out, the more likely I am to completely forget what the hell the point of that was. Was it WP about contact services? Nope. I got no idea what happened here. But I think I should have that file open on my phone. List pages.php. That's a terrible name. So I'm going to change the name of that to man, I'm feeling sickly. I'm going to change the name to all pages JSON objects, JSON LD.php. All right, so I think nope, we're not done here. Shoot, what is the problem here? Okay, that's fine though. That is perfectly fine because what we're gonna do rest is work on this. So this is not the right file. Gonna reload this, and now we have all pages JSON.ld. I should really just rename all my files so that they okay. So yeah, it's supposed to, there's no duplicates. There's no duplicate JSON LD blocks according to the hash. Uh, but in reality, most of the JSON blocks, most of the content in the JSON blocks is the same thing over and over again. And then there's just like one little change for each of them. And sometimes the only change is the date modified. So instead of just checking them to see whether or not they're exactly the same, what we should do is parse the JSON object. And for the JSON objects, there's only some parts of the JSON object that should ever change because um, like web page, product, service, those ones will be different, have different data in them, but everything else should be the same. And honestly, the whole idea of a graph object is that it's the only one, but obviously they're sticking two graph objects into every single page. So we certainly can't rely on that. And each of them are different. So I have no idea where to start on this. Let's think about this. Let's just compare block one and block three. I was going to say block one and block two, but the reason why, what the hell? What the? It's okay. It's just saying that it's JSON LD block one over and over again, but it's actually not. Is there such a thing as block two? There's 52 block ones. There's also 52 block twos. There's 11 block threes. What is happening here? And it skips from block three to block five without. All right, whatever. Let's see, how are we coming along? Oh, we've got our list of Taiwanese. We have our list. Let's see if it. All right, so here's one block, one JSON LD block. That's block three. And then we'll go back to the first block one. Oh, lordy, lordy, I'm hungry. What is the difference between these two JSON objects? That is annoying. We got double sharing going on here.
Here's a clear comparison of the two JSON LD objects you posted. Overall structure. Both are at graph arrays describing the same page, social media services Chantilly, but they come from different generators or plugin versions. Aspect, first JSON LD, second JSON LD, what? Main focus, basic organization plus web page plus breadcrumbs website. Enhanced web page markup including image object, read action, and search action. Complexity, simpler, only 4 nodes. More complete, 4 nodes but with richer properties. Plugin origin, likely from an SEO plugin like AIOSO or Rank Math Basic, likely Rank Math Pro/schema-rich generator. Web page differences. Property, first JSON LD, second JSON LD. At ID, social media services Chantilly / web page. Social media services Chantilly. Breadcrumb web page points to itself, slightly incorrect. Tash breadcrumb correctly points to breadcrumb list object. Primary image of page, missing. Present image, missing. Thumbnail URL, missing. Potential action, missing. Read action, defined. In language in US, same. Date published, date modified, identical. Tasha organization publisher, property, first JSON LD, second JSON LD. At type, organization object included in first, missing in second, publisher. Present as reference to organization, missing direct organization node, but site name is in website node. So the first version explicitly defines the company, River City Marketing, as an organization, while the second one only includes the website and doesn't explicitly include an organization node. Breadcrumb list, property, first JSON LD, second JSON LD, at ID, breadcrumb list, breadcrumb, item list element, includes both at ID and forward-backward navigation, next item, previous item. Simpler, just position and name, quality, more verbose but redundant, cleaner and more standard.
I really can't think.
Website, property, first JSON LD, second JSON LD, description, empty string explicitly defined. Potential action, none. Search action present allows site search and SERPs. Publisher, references organization, no publisher field. Hash summary, feature, first JSON LD, second JSON LD, explicit organization info, yes, no. Image object with caption, no. Yes, search action, no, yes. Breadcrumb precision, slightly mislinked.
I really can't think of how to start going about this. So I'm gonna just have it write a PHP parser that I can put at the end of this file, which will pull and echo the organization object. changed it to pull and print because if you say pull and echo, it probably will create a for each loop. And if we just want to print it, then there's a lot less code, which will ultimately delete that code anyways. But I forgot to include the code in the prompt. I always do. So boom, boom, boom. All right. I don't, first of all, um, okay, don't write functions. Do not check hashes. Just pull and print the organization objects. All right. So portfolio, organization objects, organization object. I wonder if I can fit these into ChatGPT. I don't need all of them even, so. Are all of these organization objects the same? God, I can't believe it fit in there. Everyone shown is the exact same organization node. If you ever want to dedupe an output, you can just key by the ID and print it once. What do you mean by that? The ID is guaranteed to be unique per entity across the entire site. You can safely assume all blocks with the same ID describe the same thing. So you don't have to print it 40 times, once is enough. So we keep an array of IDs, and then if the ID has already been seen, all right, now I need to look through this code and see if I can make sense of it at all. Um, HTML GTD code. Okay, so where in this code block can I put the ID filter? Damn, that was an instantaneous answer. Like it had anticipated what I was going to ask. It said just 3 extra lines, but I'm not seeing the that was a really bad I just had, like, a terrible headache situation. But this ID filtering by ID is gonna save a lot of time. It's gonna be way easier than I was expecting it to be. So that just saved me so much anticipated problems. The fact that the ID should be unique. Now, do I trust them not to mess that up? I probably shouldn't, but you know what? It's kinda on them. I get yeah, yeah, Alright, where's my so we should at the end of this, we should see only one organization, um, object. Did I save it? 'Cause, we're still getting a lot of organization objects. So let me just ask ChatGPT whether or not this uh okay, if is org echo echo. So stupid. I put the filter after the echo. That's the problem. All right, let's try it again, and we should have only one organization entry at the very end. And we have many organization objects instead. Why? Did I not save? It's giving me the last chunk of code here. You know what? I'm gonna start over. All right, so this is going to be called JSON LD parser. Okay. Use this URL and create the simplest possible PHP code, no functions to get the HTML, check and print JSON LD objects. All right, what is the URL I need to go to now? JSON LD parser. So the thing is, it's like great. Like, the first thing I did was get it to grab a JSON object from a page. Great. Then the next thing I did is have it scan all pages for JSON objects and grab all of them. Great. But now we want to parse the JSON object. So it's going to be a lot simpler to start by parsing one page or even one object as opposed to uh, all of the pages with all of the objects. So that's why I decided let's just start a new file and work from there. Okay, let's see if we get anything. We found 2 JSON LD blocks. First of all, I want to look at this code real quick and make sure that it doesn't do anything that I don't like. Uh, okay. Okay, so it prints JSON LD1, prints JSON LD2. Now, for block 1, it is a graph block. Also a graph block. The ID for number 1 is the breadcrumb list. The ID for number 2 is webpage rivercitymarketing.com. It is part of River City Marketing website. Why is it not? Okay. Where is the website object then? Huh. Okay, so the ID for the organization section is River City Marketing ID organization. And then the ID for the really website, city marketing website. Interesting. So in JSON LD block 2, there is no organization uh, section. Okay. Anyways, let's just see if we can, let's just print these things out one at a time. So block 1 starts with add context, add graph. They both start with add context, add graph. Type breadcrumb list. Item, list element, type, list item, River City Marketing list item 1, name, home. Okay. Huh. Actually, that's kind of interesting because if you can grab the breadcrumb list programmatically, then that means that you can really be sure which what you're scraping. Time to turn on the nighttime filter. Type web page add ID. Okay. What the hell am I trying to do here? Okay, so block 1 has type breadcrumb list. Let's just look up the types. I think that's what we want to do here. Type breadcrumb list, type list item, type organization, type web page, type website. And then block 2 has type web page, type read action, type breadcrumb list, type list item, type website, type entry point, type, uh, okay. Um, I'm so glad I have ChatGPT to help with this because I used to do this like just coding PHP and parsing these things, and it was a pain in the ass. I mean, it wasn't this, it was XML, but it's the same. All right. I'm actually really confused right now as to why it's doing both. So it's, I see. Okay. So so the query that's building, that is building, whatever you call it, an array. And then it's gonna, and then, so nodes is an array. So it's gonna loop through the first one, and then it's gonna loop through the second one. All right, so Rewrite this so that it only echoes the at type values. We're just going to really get into the nitty gritty of parsing it. No, the fuck? Don't rewrite the whole file. Just the part I pasted. I don't think we save anything else to nodes. I don't think we reuse any of these variables within the loop, so it should work fine. Okay, so this time we should get the same output, but then when we scroll down, right, I need here are just the types. Just give me a guide. Okay, whatever. I was gonna comment out the other echoes so that we wouldn't get so much output and we could just focus on the part that we care about right now. What? All right, I'm gonna put line breaks in just so that it's funny how the way I go about things changes depending on how tired I am because now I'm just like, no, it's okay. Just do the line breaks. And whereas normally I'm like, what's the most important thing? Let's just focus on that. Um, Here are just the types: breadcrumb list, organization, web page, website. All right. Whoopsies. You know what? It's skipping steps, you know? Um, so I wanted it to like list web page, website, organization. Okay, it is. It's fine. Um, I just wanted to list everything. I don't want it to like only list each type once, which I wasn't sure why it's doing this array merge thing. Okay, so now rewrite this so it only shows IDs. breadcrumb list, organization, web page, website. Okay. It's just an extra URL in there for no breadcrumb. Website. Okay, so here's the issue though. We're just accessing one piece of data, but what we need is to access one piece of data and then everything under it. So instead of posting just the types, I have to look at the okay, so like for example, if this is the ID, huh, I am confused. Explain the nesting in this object. No, that is not what I was trying to do. Stop. Oh my God. Okay, it's interesting though, because it like worked. I think it actually like went and got the object from my server instead of just relying on the prompt. Let's try it again. Oh, oops. Wait, what did I do? Oh my God.
Let's unpack this step by step. It's a @graph-based JSON LD, a collection of related schema.org objects that reference each other by ID. Top level. You can see the code in our conversation history. @context tells parsers to interpret all keys using the schema.org. Please open your app to see this link vocabulary. @graph is an array of separate entities, each one a mini JSON object, like organization, web page, etc. Each entity can refer to others by @ID, breadcrumb list. You can see the code in our conversation history. The outer object defines a breadcrumb list. Inside it, item list element is an array of list item objects. Each list item has position 1 and name home. This is a nested array of objects within one graph node. Organization. You can see the code in our conversation history. A simple flat object describing the company, the @ID is used later by other nodes to reference the same organization. Web page. You can see the code in our conversation history. This node represents a page.
I share that screen and then another thing pops up, which I think might kill the audio. Even though the whole point of sharing that screen is to play the audio.
Let's unpack this step by step. It's a @graph-based JSON LD, a collection of related schema.org objects that reference each other by ID. Top level. You can see the code in our conversation history. @context tells parsers to interpret all keys using the schema.org. Please open your app to see this link, vocabulary. @graph is an array of separate entities, each one a mini JSON object, like organization, web page, etc. Each entity can refer to others by @ID, breadcrumb list. You can see the code in our conversation history. The outer object defines a breadcrumb list. Inside it, item list element is an array of list item objects. Each list item has position 1 and name home. This is a nested array of objects within one graph node. Organization. You can see the code in our conversation history. A simple flat object describing the company, the @ID is used later by other nodes to reference the same organization. Web page. You can see the code in our conversation history. This node represents a specific page. IsPartOf is an object property pointing via @ID to the website node. Breadcrumb is another object property that oddly references itself here, likely a small error since it should point to the breadcrumb list. So here we have nested object references, not nested full objects. ## website. You can see the code in our conversation history, defines the overall website. The publisher key contains an object linking back to the organization node via its ID. Summary of the nesting linking. The @graph contains 4 sibling nodes, not deeply nested. Each has its own @ID. Nesting occurs within the breadcrumb list, item list element array, within web page and website as small subobjects that reference others by ID, not full nesting. Relationships, web page, website, is part of, website, organization, publisher, breadcrumb list, list item, true structural nesting. So overall, it's a flat graph with light nesting for subobjects and internal references, which is the preferred modern schema.org structure.
So if we want to echo not just one item, but all of its sub items, how would we do that? If we want to echo not just one item, but all of its sub items, how would we do that? Please provide a conversational answer with no code. Jesus fucking Christ. It cut off the part where I said no code, and then it gave me code.
Great question. Think of a JSON LD node like breadcrumb list as a parent with children and item list element. To echo everything, you have 2 good options. Have option A, targeted loops, simple and explicit. If you know the structure, e.g., item list element under a breadcrumb list, just loop the parent, then loop its subitems. You can see the code in our conversation history. This is great when you only care about a few fields, like type, name, position, @ID, and a known nesting spot. #option B, a tiny recursive walker, generic and future-proof. If you want to print all subitems no matter where they are, a tiny recursive function will walk arrays objects and echo everything with indentation. You can see the code in our conversation history. This prints all nested keys values, e.g., item list element, each list item with indentation, so you see the hierarchy clearly. It also handles cases like isPartOf, add ID, and publisher, add ID. Which should you use? Use option A when you only need specific fields and want tight control over output. Use option B when you want to dump everything, including surprises, without keeping track of every nested path. If you want, I can adapt either style to your existing loop so it plugs in right where you're already iterating over nodes.
Oh my god, I'm too tired to even think through this.
Great question.
No,
Think of a JSON
not a
LD.
great question. I don't even know if that answered the question or not, because so in the object pasted above is like the ID or the type. Are these top levels of a further nested object or not? I feel like it did not understand my question.
Good question. It depends on where those keys appear in the JSON LD structure. Let's break it down using your example. 1. Inside @graph, each item is a top-level node. In your JSON LD, you can see the code in our conversation history. Each inside the array is a top-level object, or node, in the graph. That means its @ID and @type describe an entity at the same level. None of these is nested under another. They're siblings in the @graph. So yes, inside the @graph, ID and type belong to top-level objects, one per node. 2. But inside those nodes, subobjects can also have @type. Example, you can see the code in our conversation history. Here, the ID and @type belong to a nested object, a child of the breadcrumb list node. So inside @graph, you have top-level @type and @ID for main entities, organization, website, etc. Nested type and @ID for subobjects, list items, publisher, is part of, etc. Think of it like a directory. The @graph array is the folder. Each node in it, organization, webpage, etc., is a file. Inside those files, you can have embedded mini objects, like attachments, that may also have their own IDs and types. So short answer, open quote, the ID and @type that appear directly inside each item of the @graph array are top level. The ones inside nested properties like item list element, publisher, etc., are not top level. They belong to subobjects inside those main nodes. Close quote.
Okay, so graph. Recreate this JSON object showing the level of nesting at each item. All right. So did we already have a thing that lists only the IDs? Yeah, here are the IDs. One, two, three, four, five, six IDs. But one only the website is repeated. I'm too retarded to do this right now. I don't even know. I don't even know. All right, I'm gonna take a tiny break and then maybe I'll try to do the Taiwan list thing before I finish. All right, I just tried to spell GoDaddy and I couldn't. Unbelievable. I couldn't spell daddy, so I feel like I'm anyways, I think I could do this Taiwan thing because Um, it's still kind of bothering me though. Why is it so hard to parse a JSON object again? What am I even trying to accomplish there? I don't know. That's the issue, is that I don't really know. Um, okay, so I need the I need my JSON finder file. JSON finder, see that, and then agencies in Taiwan list. Now I'm gonna take them. Shit. Put a comma after each. I need them comma separated. Now I gotta go to JSON finder. And we'll now know which of these companies use WordPress. Which apparently ChatGPT in deep research mode will actually figure out for you. Oh, damn. A huge number of these are actually the same company, just with a different subdomain. Taipei.Taiwan SEO company, Nantou.Taiwan SEO company, Yunlin.Taiwan SEO company. So I have a lot, it gave me a lot less URLs than I would have liked. And this JSON finder is taking as long as the deep research did. Damn, dude. It's taking forever. What is going on? Is it my server? Is my server slow, or let's find out. My chatbot loaded pretty quick. Let's do a server test. Totally no problems. It's going great. So it's purely just, I guess it's just the amount of URLs. Damn, it's still going. I don't know what to say about this. I feel like I maybe should press the refresh button. By the way, did I save changes? I did. Ho, ho, ho. All right, whatever. There we go. Save up. All right, looks like a lot of them are not WP. Um, okay. Put the list in a code box with no commas, just one URL per line, but remove https:// from each URL. All right. Oops. All right, so we're making a text file with all of these in it. And now what do we do? Now we go to the feedbots index. And here we have the Taiwan option now. And there better be posts. If there's 0 posts, I'm going to be sad. But I should be able to make bots for all of these companies very easily. Hell yeah. Look at that. You know what I didn't even realize though is that if these blogs are all in English, it's only scanning for English keywords. So I really should um, I really should use keywords. Um, globalsense.com.taiwan. Okay, okay. I made a demo for them already. And this. Yeah, awu.ai. Acupass, Sonar Incorporated. Nice, we got a lot of them. And this is literally just the past week, and posts that use English GEO AI or a few other related keywords in them. So that's awesome. Um, so we got some active people in the arena over there in Taiwan, and I have a list that I can use to for contacting tomorrow and for making demos for. So, all right, unless I want to go back to JSON parsing, which I don't really want to do right now. Yeah, I can't do that. Maybe if I go for a walk, I'll decide that I can take another shot at it. Otherwise, I should just go to sleep. Sleeping would be helpful.